Alright, hey YouTube, what's going on? So for today's video we're in the local woods and I'm going to do something a bit different and I'm going to do a full building / repairing video. And so we've got this jump here, and now this is a jump I built 2 years ago, and I originally made it to have a jump that I could ride in winter. It was close to where I lived, and I basically built it as a jump, you know, to practice a couple tricks and to learn to flip again after my big knee injury. And it worked really well for that. And since then, I don't really ride it very much. Like last year I had one good session on it after I rebuilt the lip again. And you know, I come through here every now and then on occasion, jump it maybe 5 to 10 times. But I have been noticing on Instagram that there's a lot of younger guys using this spot and starting to dig new jumps in here and using this jump. So I thought, you know, it'd be really cool to rebuild this, give these guys a cool jump to ride, and I can keep riding it myself and to make a video of it. So what we're gonna do today is spend the afternoon here, rebuild this jump, and then maybe go work on a couple of the other lines if there's time, because there's heaps of little lines and jibs in here, stuff to play on. So what I'm gonna do now is cut to a time lapse, and first off, we're gonna fix this jump here. Okay, so I started the dig off just by removing all the pine needles and loose sticks and stuff from the lip and the runway into the lip, and gave it like a really rough kind of reshape. What I'm going to do now is go get a couple wheelbarrows of this more clay-like sand to tip on top of it, and then I've got some water there. There's a stream not too far away I can fill the water back up with, and we're going to start reshaping this lip. Cool, so that's the first 2 wheelbarrows of dirt on, and I think I'm definitely gonna need at least one more. But what we're gonna do now is start giving this a rough shape, see how it looks, and then decide if we need more dirt. All right, this is what we got so far. So the lip's definitely taking shape, looking a lot smoother. Starting to get an edge. Yeah, starting to look smoothish. Looking pretty good. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly wet this lip down so the water soaks in it so it all sticks together nicely. Get one more wheelbarrow of dirt, and then just shower that dirt over the lip and smooth everything out so we get it nice and buttery. Okay, so you might be wondering why I'd had that quick clip of chopping up the dirt before working it, and the reason for that is when you're finishing a lip, you want the dirt, when you do the last coating, to be like nice and powdery and soft, and to be small bits, because that way it's much easier for it to fill in the cracks and to move into little gaps. It gives a much smoother finish. And what you want to do is wet the lip like I did just before, and then you just sprinkle the dirt over top. Now ideally, if I was working on the trails for my hardtail, I'd make the dirt a lot finer. You'd probably use a broom to sweep the dirt up, or you'd throw the dirt up with a shovel, but we're just gonna sprinkle on with the shovel and see how we go, since this is for the enduro bikes. So we're gonna hop back into the time lapse now. Sweet. I think we're gonna call that lip about done. I smoothed in the runway most of the way up. And the hard thing about this spot is being dug out of the side, it's really hard to get it smooth all the way across, but you only ever ride down this middle line. But I think this lip's looking pretty good now. You know, got some nice edges, all smacked in on all sides. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, and it's not quite up to the spec I'd normally do with my own trails, but I think for an enduro bike, and given, you know, the dirt I had in the spot I was in, it was pretty good. We're now gonna move on to working on the landing. Okay, here's the current state of the landing. So it's not actually too bad because there's a natural hill here, but the landing kind of has like washed away, because normally like the edge would sort of go along here, and you can see where it's sort of like washed away and where people have landed here and nicked the side. So what I'm gonna do is get a few wheelbarrows of sand and just buff it up a little bit, sort of make that edge again, make it a bit taller and a little bit safer if you did come off on it, just so there's a more obvious landing. And I think we'll aim for the case pad to be somewhere by this like root here. We'll also tidy away some of the ferns and stuff too before we put the sand on. So, got a not bad pile of dirt to work here for this landing. I'm not 100% sure how many wheelbarrows that was, and this looks like a heap of dirt, but honestly it doesn't go that far in a landing. Oh, gotta catch my breath, I'm unfit. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put the time-lapse back on and move this dirt all around, sort of shape the landing and see how we are at the end of the time-lapse, decide whether we need more dirt or not. Fingers crossed this will be enough dirt to finish the landing. All right, I'm gonna call that landing done. You know, it's got a bit of a little case pad. Actually, not a half decent bad gap there. Nice little case pad. Bit of an edge along here. Nice bit of tranny. Have a look from down here. And yeah, it's not too bad. Now, obviously it's not like butter smooth, but unfortunately when working with sand like this, you can see how soft that is. It takes a long time for the sand to compact if it's not soaking wet, and I do have water, but it'll just take forever with my little water bottles. So ideally what this needs is to be rained on a couple times, ridden on a couple times, and flat back up. Now when it rains and it gets ridden, this will wash away pretty quick to being smaller, but it will be significantly better than what it was. So yeah, let's just take one last look at the jump. We started here, you know, up the lip, then gap, down to there. And honestly, I'm pretty stoked on it. So what I'm gonna do now is, if I can, I'm gonna put in a quick before and after clip of each side to compare what it looked like. Then we'll move on to fixing up a different jump. I just want to put in a quick disclaimer. If you do live in Invercargill and you know where this jump is, feel free to ride it and check it out. But please be respectful of it. If you're going to ride it, please check beforehand if it's still soft. If it is really soft still, please don't ride it. Give it a bit more time to set. The reason for this is if you ride it when it's soft, it creates a big rut in the lip, and that makes it harder for everyone else to ride. And if you ride it heaps when it's not ready, it won't last as long, and then everyone misses out. So if it is soft, please just give it a bit of time. Cheers. Okay, so actually right beside this first jump we made, there's the roll-in for it there. There is another roll-in here, which leads into this kind of smaller jump. And now it's pretty overgrown and like just rough as, but people were jumping from here down to there. And so this jump here, while to me it wouldn't be very fun because it's pretty small, I've actually already seen 2 people come through and hit it today while I was digging. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I might just give it a quick tidy up, scrape away all the stuff down the roll-in and make it rideable again, because you know, it's cool to have beginner jumps so people can learn. I know I would love to have beginner jumps when I was first riding, and I'm thinking if we're allowed to ride soon, this would be a good jump for me to bring my sister to come practice riding. So we're gonna give it a tidy up now. Sweet, and with only about 5 minutes time, there is another little jump. Now, it's not really much compared to the big one over there, well the bigger one over there, but you know, it's got a nice little shape to it. And it's a great little beginner jump and another jump in the woods, so that's cool. Hopefully someone has fun riding it. Okay, now that we've finished those 2 jumps, we're gonna move on to something else. Just before we do, I just wanted to say I've been looking at my YouTube analytics, and I noticed about 80–85% of the people watching my videos aren't actually subscribed. So if you are watching now and you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you would drop that subscribe. It means you'd never miss a video each week, and gave this video a like, because a lot of effort's gone to the digging. Cheers. All right, so the next thing I've come across is this nice little drop-in, like loose dirt berm. And this actually wasn't here before, and this actually looks really fun to ride, because it looks like you could come flying down the hill and just smack into this thing really hard. And then after that, what it leads into is you sort of head down here. And this was here before, but it wasn't this big. They've got this wee sort of half done step down lip. So you come from here, hop down, land down here, and then it leads into this sort of like fly out lip here. And both these lips are a bit bigger. Well, they've been obviously worked on, I should say, since I was last here. And normally I wouldn't go changing anyone else's jumps, but all I'm going to do here is, because I know most people that dig in here, is I'm going to quickly give the step down lip and the fly out lip a wee tidy up, just so it's a bit smoother and a bit nicer and safer looking, so other people can have more fun riding it. So we're going to get into that now and back onto the time lapse. Sweet. Well, that's a little step down lip done. And honestly, it feels like as this video progresses, my digging quality degresses, but you know, it's okay. It's better than it was. And again, it is a small little beginner jump, so I mean, hopefully someone will have fun on it. I don't think they're gonna be too worried about how it feels. It's definitely better than what it was, but the thing was, you know, I was digging dirt out of this hole here that was already there, and you know, it's just so dry and so soft. And I've got a little bit of water, but it would just take like liters and liters to make this thing hard. So hopefully it rains the next couple days before someone rides it and it can harden up. Now we're gonna move on to the fly out jump after the step down. Awesome. So this one here was a really quick fix because it was already built quite well. I sort of filled in the rut and made a nicer edge to it, so it's a bit nicer. And yeah, I mean, this line is both the step down and this fly out jump are really small. And I'll definitely class them as beginner jumps, but you can actually have heaps of fun on them, which I've done before. And this jump here, this fly out one, is actually super good to do some long jump stuff. So I'm gonna quickly show a clip now from my Instagram of me doing a long jump on it. If you look at that, you know, these are small jumps, you know, that a beginner could do, but even myself, like a pretty experienced rider who's been riding for a long time, can have a heap of fun on this. And I think it would honestly be really cool one day to film a long jump video on that and get some measuring tape and measure it if I can get some people together. So that might be a thing in the future. But yeah, we're gonna call that jump done and this line done. All right, the last jump we're gonna fix up is this gap jump here. So it's from here across this like pit / hole in the ground over to there. So I'm gonna quickly put the GoPro down over here to give you an idea of the scale. You know, so this jump is actually really long for how high the lip is. And I have hit this jump before heaps of times in the past on both my enduro bike and my hardtail, but right now it's looking really rough. You know, like this lip just looks like you'd hit it like running into the curb just about. So what I'm gonna do is give this one a quick tidy up and then probably call it the end of the video. Cool. So already, after a quick touch up, this gap jump lip is looking rideable again. And I just cleaned out the inside as well for anyone that wants to roll through it, and just scraped away the landing. I decided not to stack any more dirt on the landing because from jumping this one in the past, like, I mean, you only really get like this high above it because you're going so quick to make it, so you don't really need much of a landing, and you only kind of just make it to the landing pad anyway. And I think that's kind of fun. It's a bit different to a normal jump. And the other really cool thing about this is you can ride it like a gap jump by gapping from there to there, or you can ride it kind of like an in and out kind of street feature by sort of coming up here, hopping in, pumping down the bottom, and popping out there. And I actually did this a couple of weeks ago where I was sort of riding it like almost like a whale tail kind of thing. So I'm going to quickly cut to those clips now to show you. Yeah, sweet. So there's a quick clip of both jumping that jump and using it as a street kind of whale tail with a 180 on the enduro bike. I also included the quick Abubakar clips because I'd filmed those a while ago on the same session but just never used the footage. There's some extra footage for you. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hopefully in next week's video we're gonna do a session riding these with some people, which would be good if the lifts are hard enough. If they're not hard enough, we'll just wait a bit. And that actually makes a good point. I'm gonna put a quick disclaimer. If you live in Invercargill, know where these are, feel free to ride them, have fun on them. But if they're soft or super wet, please don't, because that wrecks them. It makes it hard to ride them. And just, yeah, respect them so everyone can have some cool jumps to ride in the future together. And yeah, if you did like this building content, let me know in the comments below, because I can easily do some more building videos. I do heaps of building at my own trails out here, and I just don't normally film it all, but I could start filming it and that would be really easy. So if you like the building videos, comment below and leave the video a like. But yeah, until then, that's gonna be the end of this week's video. Be sure to leave a like, leave some comments, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Cheers, team.